Do you think being non-confrontational or getting along with others is a good quality for council? And if so, when you get back on council, if you do, can you get along with reaching a consensus and get along with the others?
I guess I'll fall back on your opening remarks. What is it you said? The press spins the news, partial reporting. That's what it has been. As I said in my opening remarks, my introduction, I spend extensive time researching the issues, and the more I dig, the more I find. And I spend a great deal of time preparing my remarks. Council has learned that, and I'm very close to the jugular on it. They do not want to answer. They do not want to be held accountable. And when you cannot defend your positions up there, what is left for people to do to attack your credibility? And unfortunately, we have a press that basically is a mouthpiece for government, the politicians. And I will admit on a couple of occasions, they tell you that we're not going to have a back and forth, and generally they maintain that decorum. But occasionally they will have to spin what I have said or undermine what I have said with non-factual information, and I've taken the bait, and I'll make a remark, and it just gives them an opening and say, all right, Mr. Osborne, you've not been recognized. I've been at meetings the same night, and I've seen individuals have a back and forth and be given enormous lengths of time. And then when I'll raise my hand to ask to speak, no. So whatever policy there is, it's not applied evenly, fairly, and I'll let it go with that.
As I said, we laid the groundworks to be addressed to one candidate, but everybody else can respond. Ms. Kiesling, do you care to respond to the question?
I was on council for 2 years with Chuck. That was 10 years ago. It was both of our first terms. Back then, I think we worked very well together. I see no reason that we would have any trouble working together again. I think he has a very hard time being out in the audience, and that's why it appears as if it's combative. He has a very, almost, no offense, almost reminds me of my 10-year-old, where he just has something to say and he just wants to say it right then, right now, and he can't raise his hand and he can't hold his tongue. And it's because it's very important to him. He's very passionate about the subject. I completely understand. I would think Chuck, we would work very well together and we'd have no trouble. So.
Mr. Wells?
Well, I've been at the meetings too, and I've seen the interactions with Mr. Osborne and the council, and pretty much agree with Marcia. Chuck's very passionate, and he does do his homework. He's always prepared. I personally believe that to work as a council, as a unit, you have to show respect. Everyone has to be respectful to one another, and I believe respect is given. Sometimes, it is tough being out in the audience, because I know how Chuck feels sitting out there. You sometimes don't get your say when you got something on your mind. It is difficult, so I see where everyone's coming from.
Mr. Shredder, do you care to respond?
No.
Mr. Griffith?
I think the larger issue out there is how we can work together collaboratively. I think as I talk to people, one of the questions they have is of my sanity for wanting to run for city council. And one of the reasons that they do that is because historically it's been something that people didn't feel like was an effective voice. And I think part of that is the reason is because people haven't been as effective, I think, and that involves a collaborative spirit. As lawyers, Dick, as you know, we're taught to disagree agreeably, and I think we could do a better. I'm certain that we could do a better job of that on city council right now. It's not that we all have to agree with each other, but I think as a community, we need to make sure that we're working together in a spirit that is appropriate, that involves the right sort of collaboration, and that involves everybody's voices in a way that makes a lot of sense.